All right, good morning, everyone. You are going to be able to access all the materials on Google Classroom. So as of right now, you are able to see the Chapter 12 slides. The Chapter 12, it's going to be the basic financial equation worksheet that you'll be doing an activity on, and then the notes for 12-1 that we'll be going over today. So you should have access to all of that starting at 10 a.m. The next piece of it is you are going to follow this link to take the pre-quiz. So click on this link within your Google Slides and it's going to take you to a Google form. So go ahead and press pause now to take that quiz. All right, welcome back. So what you're going to do now is picture yourself as a business owner. You're going to talk about these questions with your neighbor or your food truck group or however you want to do that. But what type of business are you going to own if you were a business owner? What type of financial decisions will you have to make? And how will you make financial decisions, and who will you be able to go to when you have questions about finances? So take about 3 to 5 minutes here with your group and think about this and talk about it, and then bring it back together. All right, welcome back. We are going to start with the instruction piece of 12-1, financial planning. So the essential questions that we are going to touch on today: what are the most important financial questions a business must answer? What is the basic financial equation? And then tomorrow we will get into what are the steps in budget preparation and what are 3 types of business budgets. So to begin a business, when you start a business, financial planning absolutely begins. So there are several questions that you are going to ask yourself as you are starting your business. So for example, how much money will be needed to start the business? Okay, if you have a lot of equipment that you need to buy, obviously that number is going to be higher. Think about your food truck business. What are the types of things that you are going to need to start that business? Where will that financing come from? So for your food truck business, you are going to ask for money from Shark Tank investors. But in an actual business, you may find investors or partners that are willing to invest in you, or you're going to have to go to a bank. So you would basically take your business plan to a bank and say, this is what I need for my business, and these are the types of things that I'm going to be spending this money on. And this is how I'm going to make my payments. How will adequate funds be obtained to operate the business for the months or years until the business becomes profitable? Okay, are you going to be able to break even? Are you going to be able to make enough money within those first few months for you not to lose all your money and have to go bankrupt? What will be the best sources of sales and other income? Okay, where are your sales going to come from? Noah, I'm thinking about you right now. I'm assuming that someday you want to open a welding shop of some sort. Where would those sales come from? Are you going to have other type of income coming in? What will be the major expenses? Okay, those day-to-day expenses. We're going to talk about that in more detail with your food truck. Not as much throughout the slides, but the major expenses, they're day-to-day. Are they going to be utilities? Are they going to be for your food truck? Is it going to be gas and propane? Is it going to be the food? You have to think about those things. And when must they be paid? Okay, when are your bills going to be due? Hey, are they all going to be due on the same day of the month? Hopefully not. Hopefully you're going to be able to generate some income throughout the month and be able to spread out those payments. Revenue. This is all income that a business receives over a period of time. So that's all the money that's coming into your business. Expenses. This is the cost of actually operating that business. So the basic financial equation is going to be revenue minus expenses, and then that's going to lead to a profit or a loss. So profit is going to be when your revenue is greater than your expenses. So revenue greater than expenses equals a profit. A loss is going to be revenue is less than your expenses. So you're bringing in less money than you're paying out of your business. So revenue less than expenses equals a loss. So for example here, if a business has annual revenue of $5 million and expenses of $4.5 million, did the business make a profit or suffer a loss? All right, there is going to be a worksheet that you're going to complete with your neighbor or a small group for practice on the basic financial equation. This worksheet is going to be in Google Classroom. It's called Chapter 12, Financial Planning, Basic Financial Equation. You are going to go ahead and open that, and either you can print it double-sided so it's on one sheet of paper, or you can do this electronically. I don't care how you do it, just as long as you have the answers when we go over this tomorrow. So for the example that we did, if a business has annual revenue of $5 million and expenses of $4.5 million, did the business make a profit or suffer a loss? And how much is the profit or the loss? So $5 million is greater than $4.5 million, which means the business made a profit. $5 million minus $4.5 million means it's $500,000. So the answer is a $500,000 profit. So that is how I want you to complete these questions down here. It's kind of laid out exactly the same. Go ahead and take about 5 to 8 or so minutes to finish this worksheet and then bring it back together. All right, welcome back. We are going to move into the ongoing operations of financial planning. So managers, they are going to be responsible for the costs of the part of the business that they manage. Okay, we've talked about this. We went through a management chapter. In the financial planning piece, they would maybe be a finance manager, or they would be the head of the accounting department. They work with employees to reduce waste and control those expenses. Employees, they are needed to do the work of the business. So these are going to be well-trained, motivated, and efficient employees. This equals more productivity. Businesses. A business that tries to save money by hiring fewer people, paying lower wages, and reducing the amount of training are going to find that costs increase due to waste, inefficiency, and poor quality products. I'm assuming that a lot of you can probably speak to this, that if you don't receive the right amount of training, you stand around a little bit more, right? And if you're getting the lowest rate wage, you may not work as hard. So what I want you to do right now is I want you to work with a partner and answer these questions. How do managers and employees work together in each of the following areas to help control costs? You may have to do a little bit of Googling for this, but I want you to come up with a group, do it on either do it in a Google Doc and print it off at the end of the activity, or do it on a sheet of paper. There are sheets of paper in the front of the room underneath like the Kleenexes and things like that. So how do managers and employees work together in each of the following areas? So you're going to talk about production specifically. Okay, how do managers and employees work together in each of this in production to help control those costs? Okay, so you, like I said, you may have to Google it. So take about 10 minutes here now to complete that. All right, welcome back. We are going to finish up the last piece today, and then there's just going to be a post-quiz on the next slide. So, successful businesses expand to serve more customers, enter new markets, introduce new products, but the expansion is going to cost money. But the goal is the income generated by the expansion will be far greater than the cost, and a more profitable business will result in this. So we are going to
I think a lot of people, when they think about ways to expand, naturally look to what's my competition doing? Or they see their competition doing something and say, oh, we need to go chase that. Well, the fact of the matter is, what your competition is doing might be interesting, but it may not be important to how you're going to grow your business. In fact, it may actually clutter the ideas about how you can actually innovate. The ambition of most businesses is to grow, and there are really only a couple ways that you can do it. You can raise your prices, acquire new customers, or you can do more business with your existing customers. I contend that number 3 is probably the easiest way to grow a business. Have an iterative process. Use Scrum technology to really build things fast, to build teams that can work on things, to know when something's going to work or fail. Sometimes go out and buy some inexpensive advertising and do some things that are going to be in your market, even if you haven't built the product yet, because that kind of research can be invaluable. One of the greatest ways to have a sure bet, if you will, for expanding in your market is, again, to go to your customers. Not only ask them, but even if you're considering something, what I love to do is take that consideration of an expansion, be it a service or a product, and actually build it with them. Today, what people are doing, they're building communities that can actually tell them what to build. It's a longer play, but certainly is a sure way to find opportunities for expansion. It's not the end-all, be-all, but it's certainly a great place to go and get your initial market research. Better to find out that maybe you were a little off and need to veer than to have a product that you've launched with great fanfare and have it bomb completely.
All right, the last piece for today then is going to be the post quiz. So go ahead and click on this link. It's going to take you to a 10-point quiz. This is just a formative quiz, so it will not be going into the summative. Then do your best. Take notes afterwards if there's a little bit of time. Like I said, there are a copy of my notes in Google Classroom for you, as well as maybe looking at some of the questions on the quiz and making sure you have that information in your notes as well if you didn't understand that piece of it. So I hope you guys have a great day. It looks like it's going to be beautiful out. Have a great day.